What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back. We are heading into week 6, Operation Supersized Growth Phase. Let's do it. As always, guys, we're going to give you some quick updates to the plan. We actually are going to be filming my new leg day A today, so you guys are going to see the changes there. I'm going to break down a little bit of why I'm making some changes and what we are doing moving forward. So, quick updates first. Up about 1.5 pounds again. Weighed in at 197.7 today. So new high for this growth phase. We're going to be pushing into the 200 soon. I'm super excited to see what that looks like because conditioning is holding rather well. So we are starting to lose a little bit of our lines right now, but nothing too crazy. Really, we can run this. Probably got another 10 to 12 weeks of growing before body fat starts to really accumulate. So really, we don't need to stop a growth phase until there's a drastic change in visual from week to week. So right now, what we are doing for our new leg day and why we're doing it. So I'm training legs every 4th day. I've been doing more quad volume on one day, so 9 sets of quads on one day and 6 sets on the other. I found I was a little bit, I felt like I was over recovered by the time I was training quads again after the 6 sets. So I'm not adding any volume yet, but we're going to split it evenly. So we're going to do 8 sets and 7 sets. Also going to split my glute work over the 2 training days. So we're doing 2 sets on the day with 7 sets of quads and then 1 set of glutes today thrown in on my quad dominant day. Also, we're going to be moving my pivot press to after my hack squat. So reason I'm doing that is the resistance profile of the hack squat, it's heavy throughout the entire range of motion, so it's heavy in the hole. And the pivot press drops off in that stretched position. So we're going to go hack squat, really push load there. Pivot press. Now, my performance on pivot press should still be really high because it drops off in the hardest part, so I can really focus on that contraction. And then we're hitting leg extension last, where, again, I'm biasing the contraction there because that is the only exercise that you can truly train your quads in the fully contracted position. So you'll see we'll get a little pause in the contraction and just keep making it nasty. That's what you got to do. You got to make your training nasty. If it doesn't hurt, you're not doing that right. But yeah. What I also want to talk about is isolation movements versus compounds, especially for leg training. I see happen all the time. And I'm going to break this down in the video today of my training. But you don't want to just jerk the weight out of the bottom in a leg extension, hamstring curl. You want to think of more of a gliding motion, turn that quad on, then get that hard contraction. Otherwise, you're just ripping on your joints. And yes, you'll get stronger, but you're not going to build more tissue. So I see a lot of people maxing out leg extension machines, leg curl machines, and they're just so aggressive on it, where their body's flopping around, everything's not locked in, when it's like you're not providing a stimulus to your quads or your hamstrings at that point. You're just flopping the weight from point A to point B. So with that being said, it's really about that control. So you actually wind up providing less stimulus to your legs and more of you're just moving weight. So if you can control the weight, make it nasty. Say you were doing 90 pounds, flopping it around, pull it back to say 60 pounds, and now you're controlling it. You're going to provide a lot more tension into the target muscle versus if you were just moving the weight around. And that is when you'll see a lot more growth. Now, on the flip side, for a compound exercise, it is a little bit more of an aggressive power movement. So I'm still going to be sticking in the hole for a second and then getting that aggressive contraction in my quads. But it is okay to be a little bit more aggressive on those movements and push it. Whereas isolation, you got to think like a surgeon. Like you really got to be dialed in to feeling the muscle work on an isolation movement. So it's really about just staying focused while you're training, dialing in, and remembering if you're training for bodybuilding, you're not a power lifter. A lot of power lifters are not built that they look like they move the amount of weight they look. They have just become really efficient movers. In bodybuilding, we want the opposite. we want to make it as hard as we possibly can for that weight to move. So I will run you guys down my entire training today. Diet is staying the same. Few other training program changes for this week coming up. Nothing drastic. I might swap an exercise here or there, swap one set from day to day, but for the most part, my training stays the same. It's working. I just need more time. That's the biggest thing, guys. Sometimes you got to just stick with what's working. You just need more time. Alrighty, guys. So next time I see you, we're going to be heading over to the gym. Got leg day. This is my favorite leg day, favorite session of the week. So I'm super excited to get after it with you guys today and bring you along for the ride. Let's do it. Alrighty, guys. It is that time. We are headed to the Mecca. We are training leg day A. So session today, what does that look like? We got seated hamstring curls, 3 sets there. Really focusing on that contraction. Again, we're going to glide into it, and you guys will see what I mean. I'll explain more during the voiceover. Then we got our hack squat. This is going to be the first week running hack squat instead of pendulum, just because it's going to load through the quad a little bit more in the lengthened position versus just at the top. Then we got our pivot press, where it's going to load more at the top than it is in the lengthened position. And then we got our leg extension. Then we're going to do a single leg curl, probably standing variation. And then we got 1 set of a hip hinge on, what's the thing called? Like the back extension thing. Oh man, I can't even think of it. But we're going to do 1 set there. Really focusing on glutes with that one. And stretching the hamstrings, can't avoid that. And then we got just adductor, calves, and that'll be it. But, hell man. This is going to be a nasty, nasty session. You ever just wake up and you're like, we're going to take it there today? Well, I try to have that mindset every day, but there's some days more than others when I'm like, this is going to be one of those sessions that leaves me absolutely wiped, because we're going to take every single set there. So especially if you're doing lower volume, you have to take your sets there. Like, you cannot leave anything in the tank if you're only doing 2 sets of an exercise. So you guys are going to see exactly how I train today. Especially we're doing more of a top set, back off set now for this go round. So we're taking it there. Yeah, not too much else to say, guys. Got my pump. I'm gonna start sipping on that. I'm gonna get to training in about a half hour, and I'll bring you guys along for the ride. Let's do it. Started off the day with seated hamstring curls. So biggest cue with this: think drag your heels straight to the floor. Then you want to drive them in hard, contracting your hamstrings and squeezing. Also, do not allow your lower back to move. So you want to think ribs down, core braced. Lower back stays glued to the pad, chest up. So one thing I see a lot of is people getting in and out of their core on this. So what's actually moving that weight isn't your hamstrings. You're just going to get a really big lower back pump. And yeah, you can move a lot more weight that way, but the amount of tension actually going into your hamstrings is way, way less. So these controlling the way up. I am going aggressive on the way down. It may not be moving very quickly, but I'm squeezing as hard as I can in my hamstrings and really driving my heels down and into me once we get that initial drag. And there we go. We're pushing this all the way right to failure, baby. All right, moving on to the hack squat. Same thing here, super controlled on the way down, loading my quads, thinking about driving through my heels and almost doing a leg extension at the bottom instead of just pushing away. So I'm really trying to keep my heels down as low as I can on the pad to keep these really quad dominant, and keeping my knees driving straight over my toes for this one, just to completely load my quad. So same thing here. I struggle with bracing sometimes, and I move through my lower back. So really just focusing on keeping my chest up tall, sitting straight to my heels, and not allowing my torso to move whatsoever, so that we can really just load the quads in that lengthened position, drive it out, and then get into the next rep. It's really just about keeping as much tension as possible. Moving on to the pivot press, and yeah, I always do that little wiggle just to get myself into position. So I'm thinking of getting as much range of motion as I can without my lower back coming up, and my feet needed to be readjusted slightly, Haven't used this machine yet. I felt this one a lot more than the pivot press that I was using. Just felt like I could get in a much more comfortable position to keep my butt down, my lower back down. A little bit of movement from your pelvis is okay, but ultimately you want all of that movement to be coming from your knees, and we're getting a ton of knee flexion here, as you guys can see. So we're really loading up and into my quads, controlling the weight down, quick pause in the bottom, kill the momentum, and then drive it up. I have honestly never felt my quads so much as I did after doing the hack squat and the pivot press today. So really, really good job keeping the tension. Next week we'll definitely take some weight progressions, but this week was really about technique, getting that locked in, and just pushing it all the way till failure. Yeah, so moving on, then we got single leg hamstring curl. So I'm trying out this standing-ish variation. So big thing with this is keeping your butt behind where your knee is, and also keeping your ribs down, so core brace the entire time, not allowing yourself to arch through your lower back. So notice my torso and upper body are not moving whatsoever, and you can literally see my hamstring contracting on the way up. So basically, this set I count failure when I can't get another full rep. This is mainly to train your hamstring in the contracted position. So if I can't contract it all the way, it is done. No jerking the weight here either, thinking about driving my heel up towards the ceiling and driving my quad into the pad. So it's really important that you keep your quad glued to the pad, so you're just bending from your knee. That is how you're going to drive max tension into your hamstring. Alrighty guys, quick session debrief. Already got rinsed off, feeling good. That was probably the most I've ever felt my legs, so pulled back a little bit on weight on most exercises, just because there's times when I'm squatting and doing other things and I'm like, I don't really feel my quads. So what I realized was I was losing my brace on a lot and just moving through my low back. So I wasn't getting the stimulus that I should have. But today we were on point, and that was a money session. So see you guys in the next one. John out.